We've been doing e-commerce SEO for 6 years, and one of the most common situations I see is a brand whose organic performance has been declining for months, sometimes years, before anyone realizes how bad it's got. Now recently, the Happy Hay company, which is a UK-based D2C brand, came to us with organic revenue down 40% year on year and over 300 keywords lost. 9 months later, that same revenue was up 231%. So I wanted to make this video to walk you through exactly how we took them from declining organic revenue and lost rankings to their best year ever of website growth, so you can take the insights and apply them to your own store. So let's get into it. What went wrong? So the Happy Hay company is a direct-to-consumer brand based in Leicestershire that sells high-quality, eco-friendly feeding hay for small pets and animals, including Timothy hay from their own farm. They do next-day delivery across the UK, and the brand had built up solid organic presence before things started to go south. About 2 years before coming to us, they'd moved to a full-service marketing agency, one of those setups where your account is managed by someone who isn't necessarily a specialist at anything. And during that time, increased competition online started putting pressure on their rankings, so organic performance started to go down. Unfortunately, the agency they were with wasn't catching it or correcting it. By the time they came to us, GA4 was showing organic revenue down 40% compared to the previous year, and over 300 keywords had been lost across the site. So here's what the domain overview looks like for Happy Hay. I'm using SEMrush as the tool to kind of show you where those organic keywords were lost. So this is how the site was performing. You can see a nice uptick in July 2022, and then you can see a decline from 2023 onwards, right? Then you can kind of see this huge spike coming into play recently, and that's a result of all of our SEO efforts. So hopefully that kind of gives you a nice view in terms of how we've helped this brand. I mean, you can see we started work with them about the summer of 2025, I'd say. So that's about 9 months ago. You can see over time, things are starting to compound around about the end of last year, and we're well into 2026 now. There's also been a recent Google update, and Google's liked what we've done, which kind of confirms all the organic growth results that we've achieved for them. What the audit revealed. So when we ran the audit, the first thing we found was widespread keyword cannibalization. Keyword cannibalization is when multiple pages on your site are competing for the same search term, which confuses Google about which page to rank. So it often ranks neither of them well. On the Happy Hay company's site, the All Hay page and the home page were both targeting overlapping queries, pulling in opposite directions. The same issue existed between the dedicated FAQ pages and their product category pages for searches like rabbit hay and guinea pig hay, meaning two different pages were competing for the same intent. And the main Timothy hay product page had its own separate problem. It was sitting at the bottom of page 1 with low visibility, not converting at the level it should have been given how central Timothy hay is to their product range. So I'm going to share what I typically see to traffic and revenue when a key product page is stuck at the bottom of page 1 versus the top, I'll say 3, 5, etc. positions. So looking at Google Search Console, I'm not going to show you the specific queries, so I've hidden that, but I can show you over time, you know, kind of what happens to the average position, I'd say. So you can kind of see, you know, what's happened there. And then, you know, as we progress through 2025, you can see that average position kind of fluctuating quite a lot. And then, you know, once our keyword optimization and, you know, organic growth techniques started kicking in, you can kind of see that position kind of strengthen over time. And, you know, I guess Google's testing, you know, how we've optimized for the page. I think this is also the same time as the Shopify migration, so that could also explain the fluctuation there, but it's kind of returning back to the levels that we had got into. So that's kind of where you'd want the keyword position to be, you know, those top 3 positions, I'll say average position, or top 5, and that is significantly going to impact your average click-through rate. You see there's a much higher click-through rate as you progress over time. You can see there's a large number of clicks, impressions, etc. Even though I guess impressions have remained steady, you can kind of see that average position and click-through rate improving. That will significantly impact your revenue, of course, and the client recently shared with us that his new customer growth has increased by around 90% year on year. So there's actual tangible commercial growth as well as the softer metrics, I'll say, in terms of clicks, average position, etc. Then there were the technical issues, and there were several. First, there was a confirmed sitemap error directly affecting crawlability, meaning Google was having trouble discovering and indexing pages across the site. There were also 404 errors on previously valuable SEO pages, which had gone down with no redirect redirect, pointing users or Google to an appropriate alternative. So any authority those old pages had built up was lost rather than being preserved and passed to a relevant page. Beyond the structural issues, the reporting setup was also a problem. The e-commerce data was split across 2 GA4 properties, which meant nobody had a clean, accurate view of what was actually happening with the revenue. When your data is unreliable, every decision you make about what's working and what isn't is built on a distorted picture, and that's a problem for any ongoing campaign. Finally, the review collection process wasn't working properly. The existing reviews didn't fully reflect the brand, and the setup wasn't collecting both product level and company level reviews. Reviews are a major trust signal in search, so having a weak or inconsistent review presence was holding back their reputation in results. So that was the full picture, and the order in which we solved these problems actually made a big difference in how quickly things turned around. By the way, if you're running an e-commerce store and suspect you've got some of the same issues but aren't sure where to start, click the first link in the description to book a free intro call with us. We'll take a look at what's going on with your site and tell you exactly what needs addressing first. Now let's keep going. The recovery work. The first priority was fixing the structural and technical foundations, because until those were clean, anything else we built on top wouldn't compound the way it should. We resolved the keyword cannibalization by clarifying which page should own which intent and making sure the site structure supported that clearly. The sitemap error was fixed to restore proper crawlability, and we created appropriate redirects for the 404 pages so the authority from those old URLs was preserved and passed through. We also consolidated the GA4 setup so the reporting was accurate going forward, because clean data is the foundation of everything else. From there, we rebuilt the review collection process. We updated the review email setup to ensure both product reviews and company reviews were being collected systematically. We also created a dedicated reviews page on the site designed to capture branded search traffic from people looking for social proof before purchasing. This matters because trust signals in search, things like ratings, review counts, and third-party mentions, are part of what helps a brand's pages perform in a competitive product category. With the foundations now clean, we moved into the growth side of the work, starting with a structured approach to expanding their product categories. The idea was to identify which animal categories were most viable for the Happy A company to expand into, rather than just publishing content and hoping it would drive sales. So we built out an evaluation framework centered on one straightforward question, which is whether hay is a main food source for that animal. Animals where hay is a primary part of the diet, like chinchillas and hamsters, were approved and moved into the content pipeline. Animals where hay isn't a meaningful part of the diet, like goats and sheep, were deprioritized because ranking for those searches wouldn't drive product sales. Once a category was approved, everything moved into an implementation pipeline built around content. For every approved category, we built a product-first content strategy. Product first means every piece of content was tied directly to a specific product or product category, not published for the sake of traffic, but designed to move someone toward a purchase. We used a range of content formats depending on where the reader was in the decision process, including buying guides, explainers, listicles, and how-to pieces. You can see that there's a range of different content that we try to create that directly linked the content to the products in question. So whether that's Timothy hay, comparing the different types of hay, and helping users, helping pet owners choose the right type of products for their specific animal, and what do gerbils eat, what can hamsters eat, etc., how to bond with rabbits, should you bathe rabbits, all kinds of pet care advice, I say, just to be helpful for anybody who's trying to look after the animal. How to choose the best hay for guinea pigs, a buyer's guide. So buyer's guides are a really good way to introduce your product to potential customers, and also to kind of help people with the purchasing decision. This is a really good way to connect your content to customers, and you can also offer things like a free code to help people along that journey. So let's say anyone lands on this particular article, they can use this code to get a free sample. Free samples are amazing hooks for trying to gain new customers. For this particular type of audience, they like to try before they buy, and they want to make sure that their particular pet likes the product before they actually commit to purchasing something on maybe a subscription. This is the type of content that we produced, and yes, it's led to some amazing results. Buying guide on how to choose the best hay for guinea pigs was designed to inform a purchase decision directly and capture someone right before they buy. An explainer on chinchilla diet, on the other hand, pulls authority earlier in the research process and brings people into the ecosystem system before they're ready to commit. So each format had a specific job, and content was only created if it was going to help sell something. Alongside the written content, we also launched an interactive tool called the Hay Feeding Calculator. I'll just give you a quick little tour in terms of the calculator that was produced by our team. So Sarif is actually the brains behind this particular tool, and you can see there's some nice internal linking that we've done across the user experience of this. So let's say you've got a rabbit and that's your type of animal or pet that you own. Let's say it's an adult, or maybe it's a senior. Maybe you've had it for a number of years. Let's say it weighs about 2.5 kg, and in terms of the hay diet, let's say is maybe 75% hay, and you plan to buy the food every couple of weeks. Let's say you've actually owned two rabbits and you like the sweet rye hay. Let's go for that. And then it calculates how much you'd need to purchase in terms of the weight, some storage tips, as well as links to the actual products and some additional product information. And then there's the particular product that we'd be interested in. And what we've also done across the products is ensured that we've added as much helpful information as possible. There's even a hay breakdown, which kind of tells you the fiber, protein, and other nutrients, what makes sweet rye hay so good. And then this is actually taken from Instagram, and you got the customer reviews there. So yeah, so really rich information to help a potential customer make a purchase on their journey. The calculator gives users personalized feeding guidance based on their pet type, weight, and then connects them to the relevant products. We built this to capture problem-solving searches, so people who are looking for specific guidance rather than browsing. Interactive tools like this tend to generate high-quality organic traffic because they solve a precise problem and they keep users on the site longer, which helps with conversion and engagement. And while all of that was happening, the site was also migrated from WooCommerce to Shopify. The old WooCommerce site had technical issues that were holding the brand back, and moving to Shopify gave the site a more stable foundation to build on. After all of that work, the results started coming in, and here's what they look like. The results. In 9 months of work between July 2025 and March 2026, over 300 keywords were recovered across the site. Organic revenue grew by 231% year-on-year. Non-brand clicks, meaning clicks from people who weren't already searching for the Happy Hay company by name, grew by 233% year-on-year. And content went from generating 0 clicks a month to over 1,000 clicks a month. And the visibility numbers show exactly how that type of growth could happen. I want to quickly show you the visibility improvements over time. So this is the improved keywords that we're working with. So as you can see, the start of the summer, you can see it's quite low, below 20%. And you can see over time, gradually things are increasing. Now, sometimes things do fluctuate when we made a major change. You can see a bit of a drop here when there was a migration, as well as a core update. That's when we kind of migrated the site over to Shopify from WooCommerce, and you can see that things have picked up again. So yeah, this is sustained growth over time, and this is typically what you'd want to see. And it's always a good way to kind of show that your SEO's on the right track and that you are doing the right things, and then clicks, revenue, and all the other good things from organic growth will start happening over time as well. And you can kind of see the visibility has certainly improved, and we're also being cited in AI overviews a lot more than we were before. So that's really nice to see. Desktop visibility went from roughly 11.5 to 78%, an increase of 66.5 percentage points. Mobile visibility went from roughly 12.7 to 73.8%, an increase of 61.1 percentage points. And this wasn't a short-term spike, but sustained, consistent upward growth across both devices. But I want to give these numbers some honest context. The 231% revenue increase is incredible, but it came after a period where revenue had been down 40% year on year. So part of what we're seeing is recovery, but the trajectory by the end of the 9 months was clearly beyond where they started. The non-brand click growth is the number I'd say is the best indicator of actual new reach, because those are people who had never searched for the Happy Hay company before and found them through organic search. And the content going from 0 to 1,000 clicks a month shows what happens when it's designed to sell something, rather than just being published to fill a blog. The last thing I'll say is about the timeline. 9 months is what this took, not 30 days, Not 90 days, but 9 months. The first phase was fixing the problems that were holding rankings back. The second phase was building the content and category infrastructure. The third phase was watching that compound, which is when the revenue numbers started going up. The bottom line is anyone telling you a site in this kind of state can be fully recovered in a matter of weeks isn't being straight with you. But when the work is done properly and in the right order, the results do come and they hold up over time because the foundations underneath are solid. In fact, I just had a chat with Harry and he confirmed that his new customer growth has increased by 90% year on year. The only major change that happened over the last 9 months was the investment in SEO. Now, if your e-commerce store is in a similar position to where Happy Hay was, whether that's lost rankings, declining organic revenue, or you just feel like your SEO hasn't been performing the way it should, click the first link in the description to book a free intro call with us. We'll take a look at what's actually going on, tell you what to fix first, and show you what a realistic recovery would look like for your specific situation. So again, that's the first link in the description to book your call. But if you're not quite ready for that, then check out our complete guide for e-commerce SEO next.